Greetings to all my dear students. I am Aishwarya Jain and today we will start Introduction to Pharmacognosy according to MSBTE syllabus, and here I present you on behalf of Pharmacognostic. The subject I will teach you is Pharmacognosy and the code for the subject is 807. So what do you mean by pharmacognosy? The substances from plants and animal sources are being used as food since antiquity. Later on, these substances were differentiated as foodstuffs and therapeutic agents. As man tried to explore and utilize these natural products for treating the ailments. Thus, their utility to remove disorders earned them the title drug, originally from French language. Introduction to Pharmacognosy. The term pharmacognosy was first coined and used by C.A. Sedler in 1815. In a small book he wrote on crude drugs entitled Atlantica Pharmacognostica. It was derived from two Greek words, pharmakon, which means a drug, and gnosis, which means knowledge of, or gignosko, which means to acquire knowledge of. Thus, the literal meaning of pharmacognosy is knowledge of drugs, or to acquire knowledge of drugs. Thus, pharmacognosy may be defined as the objective study of crude drugs and related substances of natural origin to acquire knowledge about their nature and properties. It may also be defined as an applied science which is concerned with acquiring knowledge of all aspects of crude drugs and other natural substances of pharmaceutical importance by the application of various scientific disciplines. Hence, pharmacognosy is defined as scientific and systemic study of physical, chemical, structural, and biological characters of crude drugs along with their history, method of cultivation, collection, and preparation for the market. The history of pharmacognosy. As mentioned in Papyrus Ebers, an old document written in 1500 BC, Egyptians were aware of medicinal uses of several plants and animals and also about human anatomy. The great Greek physician Hippocrates, known as father of medicine, dealt with anatomy and physiology of human beings. Aristotle, the renowned philosopher, is well known for his studies on animal kingdom. Dioscorides, a Greek physician, described several plants of medicinal importance in the Materia Medica. Greek pharmacist Galen described various methods of preparation containing active constituents of crude drugs, and even at present the branch dealing with the extraction of plants and animal drugs is known as Galenical pharmacy. Gradually, all the natural products utilized by physicians were compiled together to form the Materia Medica, given their detailed information. The products from plants, animals, and mineral origins are the three broad classes of naturally occurring drugs. Indian history of medicinal plants is dated back to 3500 BC. The curative properties of plants have been mentioned in the Sukatas of Rigvedas and Atharva Vedas. Ayurveda has also described good number of plants with their therapeutic uses and properties. The ancient well-known treatises in Ayurveda, the Charak Samhita and Sushrut Samhita, are written by Charak and Sushrut respectively. The various systems of classification of drugs and natural origin. What is crude drug? A crude drug is any naturally occurring unrefined substance derived from the sources such as plant, animal, bacteria, organs, or whole organisms intended for the use in the diagnostic, cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of disease in humans and other animals. The crude drugs obtained from different natural sources are used in the treatment of wide spectrum of diseases. For their adequate study, it is necessary to arrange them in scientific and systemic matter. Their huge number and varied occurrence make it difficult to put them in uniform pattern. For pharmacognostic study, crude drugs can be arranged in one of the following classes. In that, first is alphabetic classification, second is taxonomical classification, third is morphological classification, fourth is pharmacological classification, fifth is chemical classification, and lastly chemotaxonomical classification. Adulteration and drug evaluation. The definition for adulteration is the debasement of an article. An adulterant resembles the genuine drug in respect to its morphological appearance. Hence, the picture given in the bottom, in that you can see the first picture is of Indian saffron. As you know, it is really high in cost. Hence, it has been adulterated by using inferior and low costing products. In next picture is the piper nigrum, that is black pepper. Those are being adulterated by using papaya seeds. So the methods for adulterating the drugs are: the extent of adulteration depends upon whether the drug is indigenous or obtained from other countries. The reason for adulteration is either scarcity or the high price of the drugs in the market. An adulteration of a drug may be deliberate or accidental. Adulteration is very common with drugs which are sold illegally. Adulteration involves different conditions such as inferiority, spoilage, deterioration, admixture, sophistication, and substitution. Then, substandard drugs are being used, whereas spoilage could be due to attack of microorganisms. Deterioration means impairment in quality of the drug, whereas admixture is the addition of one article to other through ignorance, carelessness, or accident. Sophistication means intentional or deliberate kind of adulteration. Hence, these are known as adulteration. This following slides contains the order how you will learn the crude drugs in pharmacognosy. First, you will learn their synonyms, their biological source, family, geographical distribution. Then you will learn their morphology. Morphology means their color, odor, taste, and size. Then you will learn the chemical constituents which are present in your crude drug. Then you will learn the uses of the crude drug, and lastly you will learn the chemical test to identify its quality and quantity. The first point in pharmacognosy you will learn are the laxatives. Laxatives, it is a Latin word, that is laxare, to loosen. Laxatives are the drugs which loose the bowels and intestine, or the drugs producing, increasing, and hastening the intestinal evacuation, or the drugs which promote defecation. That means push out that excreta from the body. So depending upon the intestines of the drug, effects are being categorized such as laxatives. Laxatives suggest the elimination of soft form stools, that those are mild purgatives, and examples are very important, that is bran, cinna, isabgol, liquid paraffin. Next is purgatives. Purgatives, it suggests more fluid evacuation, and examples are castor oil, aloe, and rhubarb. So the drugs under laxatives you will learn are aloe, rhubarb, castor oil, isabgol, and cinna. The next category we will learn are cardiotonics. Cardiotonics, it is a Greek word, that is cardia, that means heart. Cardiotonics are the drugs which give strength or energy to the activity of the heart. Cardiotonics increases the force of contraction of cardiac muscles and stimulate the overall activity of the heart. So the definition of cardiotonic is, either you can write both. So in that first one is the drugs which give strength or energy to activity of the heart, and examples are digitalis, squill, arjuna, etc. Another definition is cardiotonics increases the force of contraction of cardiac muscles and stimulate the overall activity of the heart. And the crude drugs under the cardiotonics you will learn are digitalis and arjuna. Now we will learn carminatives and GI regulators. The carminatives are Latin word that is carminare, to cleanse. Are these soothing medicaments that act by relieving the pain in the stomach and intestine and expelling the flatulence and gas from the gastrointestinal tract by increasing the peristalsis. The examples of carminatives are fennel, coriander, cardamom, clove, cinnamon, caraway, etc. The carminatives are prescribed in the ingestion, gastric discomfort and loss of appetite. The gastrointestinal regulators are the agents which regularizes the activity of GI tract and include bitter, stomachic, alteratives, a stimulant, aromatics, ciliagogue, antiemetics and appetizers. So the definition of carminatives are, these are the agents that remove gases from gastrointestinal tract, or these are the agents that act by relieving the pain in the stomach and intestine and expel gases from the GI tract by increasing peristalsis. The crude drugs under the carminative and GI regulators are coriander, fennel, ajwain, cardamom, ginger, black pepper, asafoetida, nutmeg, cinnamon and clove. Next we will learn our astringents. Astringents are the substance which causes contraction of organic tissues and muscular livin fibers. They are capable of arresting hemorrhages and reducing secretion of mucous membrane of stomach or intestine by precipitating proteins. Astringents have low permeability and only the surface of the cells is affected, but they exert the astringent effect in high dilutions. Astringents are used as typic and antidiarrheal agents. The natural astringents may be of vegetables or mineral origins. In vegetable origin, examples are tannic acid, myrobalan, behera and catechu. In minerals, the examples are salt of aluminium, bismuth, barium, copper and zinc. So the definition of astringents are the agent which precipitates proteins and causes contraction of smooth muscles. Example, black catechu, pale catechu, amla, clove and cinnamon. The crude drug under astringent we will learn is catechu. Drugs acting on nervous system. So these are the drugs which act on your CNS, and the crude drugs we will learn under are hyoscyamus, belladonna, aconite, ashwagandha, ephedra, opium, cannabis and nux vomica. Now we will learn our antihypertensives. The medicaments given in the treatment of high blood pressure are known as antihypertensive drugs. It is a Greek word that is hyper means above and tendere to stretch due to narrowing of the peripheral blood vessels. The systolic pressure in the range of 160 to 200 to 280 of mm of mercury is regarded high blood pressure, which may lead to cardiac arrest. Methyl dopa clonidine, propranolol, reserpine are few of the well-known antihypertensive agents of the modern age, of which reserpine is obtained from the natural source, that is Rauwolfia roots. So the definition of antihypertensives are the medicaments given in the treatment of high blood pressure are known as antihypertensive drugs, and the example is Rauwolfia. And the crude drug under the antihypertensive and we will study are Rauwolfia. Now we will learn antitussives. Antitussives are the Latin word that is tussus means cough, are the agents which act upon the pulmonary membrane that hasten or alter expectoration. These stimulate and expel the bronchial mucus or secretion and help in their removal. The antitussive act in one of the following ways, that is by relieving the spasm of the bronchial tubes, by mechanically dislodging as in the act of vomiting, by soothing the irritative respiratory center by making expulsion painless, by stimulating the membrane during elimination so that expectoration is made easy, by increasing the flow from the inflamed membrane like pilocarpine and imitin. Physiologically, coughing is very useful mechanism as to serve to clear the respiratory passage of foreign materials and excessive secretions. The cough should not be suppressed unless it does not serve any useful purpose, except when sleep and rest is desired to the patient. So, the definition of antitussives are the agents which act upon the pulmonary membrane that hasten or alter expectoration, or you can even write these are the agents which relieves or suppresses the cough, and the examples are Vasaka, Tulsi and Tolu balsam. The crude drugs under antitussive which we will learn in our syllabus are Vasaka, Tolu balsam and Tulsi. Antirheumatics. The drugs used to relieve or used in the treatment of rheumatism are known as antirheumatics. Rheumatism is in Greek word that is rheuma, flowing, and ismos means condition, is characterized by soreness, stiffness of muscle and pain in joints and associated structure including arthritis. The modern analgesic and anti-inflammatory agents like analgin, etc. are used to treatment in the treatment of rheumatism are from synthetic sources. However, the salicylic acid derived from salicylates commonly used for the purpose were originally obtained from the plant source, that is white willow, in the form of salicylene, a bitter glycoside. So, the definition of antirheumatics is the drugs used to relieve or used in the treatment of rheumatism are known as antirheumatics, and the example are Gugul and Colchicum. So, the crude drugs under the antirheumatics we will study are Gugul and Colchicum. Thank you for your patient listening. Introduction to Pharmacognosy brought to you by Pharmascholastic.